Welcome everybody to this playthrough for the President's Cup, this 9-hole tournament. I don't know about you guys, but I was excited to finally see the EA Sports component of the partnership with Playdemic come out here with utilizing some of the course agreements that they have. So it's great to see a real course showing up in the game. So I was excited about that. We're going to walk through the 9 holes in the qualifying round here with qualifying actual wins. And these are the same videos I've got posted hole by hole, but in this walkthrough we'll talk a little bit more in depth about some of the tweaks that you can make in order to have some success in this qualifying round. So let's jump into hole number 1. We start off with a par 3 that's a very makeable par 3 in my opinion. It does take a little bit of time to find that spot. There's no real good markers to look for, so you're going to want to simply try to follow kind of the edge of that ball guide line in that tree, not quite obviously disrupted by the tree. Apply your spins, and then you're going to try to zero in on where this ball guide ends. You're going to see I mess around with how much backspin to actually put on this shot. You can do this with a Kingmaker, but you're only going to have 3 left spin, which means you're going to be looking for a different spot, and then you're going to need to add more left curl to make this work. So you also probably will need to reduce a little bit of backspin. So if you want to try it with a Kingmaker, you can. I would advise, though, the Kingslayer, if you have them, the 4 left spin is very helpful. And also the wind resistance helps make this a very manageable par 3. And obviously we get this one to drop dead center, so a great way to start off the round in qualifying. Hole number 2, we get to bring in a power hook. I love power hooks whenever possible because it helps remove the need to be able to hit perfect. So we're just going to try to find the closest spot you can, again with different levels of apocalypse. As we've shared in the past, you're going to have to find that spot based on what level you have, how the ball guide line bounces off the rough there. It's going to look different for each level. Apply your spins. We're going to go full left curl, full overpower, and then we're going to hook this one. Again, this is another one you can try with a Kingmaker. You'll need to move your target a little bit left, because you're not going to knock the wind down as much, and you'll end up in this right rough over here. If you try to replicate it with the same landing position, so just be mindful of that. We're going to try to estimate our distance here. It can be tricky at times to estimate distance, but do your best to try to figure out where you're landing. The spins are going to vary here, so I messed around with a couple of different shots here, and depending on where you're hitting in the rough, you're going to see different ball guides, different rolls, but the bottom line is you're going to want that ball guide line on the right edge, the right side of the cup, I should say, not right edge, right side of the cup. Again, this shot was 76% slider. We're going to subtract 5% elevation, and then we're going to try to hit perfect. Get a nice little bounce there, and a nice little drop. Good luck on hole 2, friends. Hole 3, this is a long hole, and you're just trying to get the eagle. Getting an albatross is extremely rare. I haven't seen one yet. But really, you can play this hole with almost any ball. So this is done with a luminary. I like the luminary here because the power 5 and the wind 3 resistance makes our second shot easier, but I posted another individual hole video with getting an eagle with basic ball. So literally you can get an eagle on this hole with just about any ball. So follow the instructions on here. There's not a lot of nuance to this shot. It is, important to be able to hit perfect or a minor great, just so that you can keep this drive in the fairway. If you can keep, it's a big fairway, but if you can keep the drive in the fairway, you're going to be able to have a cataclysm with full topspin that will either clear and roll you onto the green, or at worst, roll out of the rough, which will leave you with an Endbringer plus 20% elevation chip. So I'll let the video play out on this one and just keep an eye here, but you're gonna just leverage the Cataclysm's topspin and distance here. You can see here I'm trying to just bounce over towards the pin just to try to get a simple eagle. There's not a real good line to get an albatross with free-to-play balls. I've seen a couple with Wind 5, Power 5, but even those I've never seen a drop yet on this hole. So take your eagle on this hole and move on to the next. Four is, I believe, a very makeable eagle here. So we're going to just get this shot down in the fairway. I tried a couple of crazy power slice shots to try to get up closer to the green, and none of them played out the way I liked. So just going to dump this ball down towards the end of the fairway, and then we're going to try to take a shot at it with our sniper. So again, just try to hit perfect here. Should have a slightly slower needle, which makes it easier. I'm still frustrated about this hole because I could not hit perfect to save my life on this approach shot. And the one time I did hit perfect on the approach, I had not adjusted correctly. So I do think this is a makeable shot. So the counting rings up for minimum is not something we do all the time with the sniper in videos. Like you'll see it mostly with Thorn, but you can do it with any club if you know what the parameters are. So with the sniper, it's 2.5% per ring. So you just look at how many rings did I push up from minimum to get that distance to the ball guide, to get to the place where the ball guideline is just into the hole. So you see I did it a couple times there just to validate how many rings from min that I was. Do the math, which I know sometimes can be tricky on the fly, but do the math, and then you're going to adjust that slider minus 10%. And that was a bad grade, unfortunately. So I do think you can make this one. Just give it your best shot there and hit perfect. Hole 5, another very makeable hole-in-one with free-to-play options. Can do this one with a Kingmaker as well. Important to find the ball guide going through the hole at the right place. So watch where the ball guideline is going through here. So you're at +5, and you're going to notice the ball guide is on the right side of the cup. And the key note here is if you try to play this with a Kingmaker, you're going to want to offset that even more to the right. So you're going to want that ball guideline further to the right edge of the cup, because you're going to get a secondary wind push that's greater, with the wind being significantly more, going from a wind 4 to a wind 3 ball. So if you do try it with a Kingmaker, you're going to want that ball guideline closer to the right edge. Hit perfect. You can drop this one. I have seen a couple of different wind angles, and sometimes it pushes the shot too hard and you can hit off the pin. I had one also that came up short. Hole number 6, long par 5, dogleg left. So this one you'd benefit from having the 4 left spin of the Kingslayer. There are a number of different ways that you can play this shot, so you don't have to use a Kingslayer here, but it does help us do a power hook. I have not tried the power hook with a Kingmaker. You just need to move further to the left. I do think it's possible. I just didn't attempt it. I do love the power hook shots, as I said before, because it gives you the ability to not have to hit perfect on the shot. On our approach here, again, we're trying to estimate distance of the club. So we talked about understanding like what percentage per ring. There are different charts you can find online that will tell you the percentage that you need to add for each ring that you move up. So this one is 25%. We're going to add 20%, and we want our ball guideline just short of the pin. And this one's going to come close. Obviously, you can make an adjustment from here knowing that I came up short, so you're going to want to move that ball guideline a little bit to the right. Hole number 7, another makeable one that I was not able to drop when I was getting the videos ready, but the definite possibility here. We're going to blast this one. You can do this with a Kingmaker as well. Just a full topspin shot. Adjust max plus 10. Key note here is if you have a lower level Apocalypse, you need to push all the way up to max instead of 5 yards. Because you're not going to have the same topspin that 7 and Apocalypse 7 or Apocalypse 8 have. So you're going to get that pushed to max so that you can get further up the fairway to make the second shot easier for you. From here, you're going to notice there's a little bit of a funnel. It's difficult. I wasn't able to get this one to drop for the content. I did drop it in one of my qualifying rounds, but not before I already had the videos posted. So see, you'll notice here as I move back, you're going to see the ball guideline maintain its path. So you can get somewhat of a funnel here. The key is to try to find a landing position where you can get the right adjustment. So I played this one at 65% because I know that just below +1 is 70% slider. I had to go a little bit below that and then make my adjustment. And I don't believe I estimated correctly. I didn't take as much time as I should have. So you'll want to make sure you find a safe distance where you can get an accurate adjustment, and obviously try to hit perfect. That didn't help me here either. Hole 8 is a very tough par 3 for free-to-play shots. We're going to do a Guardian shot here because it's safer than trying to do any kind of a rough bump. Just going to find, you're going to want to zero in on that spot on the green with max backspin. And once you've got it lined up, it's a max plus 25% adjustment. And, you know, I have in here baby right curl. There's different wind angles here that can change the amount of curl that you need. This one, I didn't have enough curl on. I needed to have a little bit more curl. So you can make those smaller tweaks to try to get this drop. But if you get this one, it's a bonus because this is a very difficult hole for free-to-play shots. I wouldn't recommend Kingmaker here because I think you're going to get pushed into overpower, but you can obviously try it if you don't have any Kingslayers or Centurions. Hole number 9, this one is definitely makeable. A no movement target, so you don't even have to move once you start the hole. Just give yourself 7 topspin here. And the wind is going to play a big difference in your drive distance. So if you have a lower wind, if you get somewhere in the 10s, you could go to full topspin to try to get further up the fairway. I did notice in a couple of different attempts that I got very different drive distances with the wind. So I knocked this one down to 7 topspin because of the high wind. But if you get a lower wind, go ahead and use max topspin. It's not going to hurt you. Try to hit perfect. And it's going to set us up nicely for this albatross attempt with our Cataclysm. So again, here we're going to have to estimate the club distance, right? So and notice here the spins could vary. So I had multiple shots where, depending on the drive distance, the way the ball hits the rough may not come out as clean. So I had a couple where I had 3.8 backspin and they didn't get to the cup. So it's going to vary. So you just got to look to make that ball guideline go through the hole as shown. 0% elevation, and this one I estimated at 36% slider. Which was spot on, and if I had been able to hit perfect, it would have dropped. So this one is definitely makeable. Good luck in the qualifying rounds, friends. Let me know how you did.